Get ready for an exciting journey through the world of best-selling Rolex watches of this year. We're exploring the fancy world of Rolex watches from 2024. We'll check out the coolest models and why people love them. Stay until the end to discover which Rolex watches everyone's talking about and why they're so popular. Rolex GMT-Master. Let's talk about the GMT-Master range, starting with our 5th ranking model, the Sprite. Both the Jubilee and Oyster versions are brand new, made last year. It's not that this model isn't popular, but it's hard to get your hands on one. Both the Jubilee and Oyster versions look cool with their iconic 40mm design, but the Jubilee one costs more to buy and sell. Surprisingly, the price in January was $26,600, but now it's dropped to around $21,500 to $22,800 for the Jubilee, and $20,200 to $21,500 for the Oyster, which is about a 20% decrease. Next up, claiming the 4th position, right after the Sprite, is the Batman model. It's got a blue and black bezel and comes with the Oyster bracelet, which makes it stand out. Whether it's the old or new version, both are popular, and the price hasn't changed much. It was selling for around $19,000 in January, and now it's between $17,700 and $18,300, which is about a 5% decrease. Coming in at number 3 is the GMT-Master 2 Batman. This model, especially with the Jubilee bracelet, tends to sell better than the Oyster one. Even though it's popular, the price has gone down from about $20,000 at the beginning of the year to approximately $18,700, which is another 10% decrease. Securing the 2nd spot is the GMT-Master 2 Pepsi, with its cool red and blue bezel. Both the Jubilee and Oyster versions are extremely wanted, and they sell quickly. The price in January wasn't mentioned, but it's said that 80% fewer units have been made, which shows how rare and wanted it is. Now, taking the top spot in the GMT range is the Rolex Root Beer. It's made from 18-karat rose gold and stainless steel and has a cool 2-tone bezel. This model is the best seller in the GMT Master range this year, almost as popular as the Submariner date. Even though it's popular, the price started at $23,800 in the beginning of the year and is now at $21,470, which is a 10% decrease, considering it costs $30,000 from Rolex, and you can get it for mid-$20,000 brand new on the grey market. It's still a good deal, isn't it? Rolex Datejust. Now let's talk about the Datejust range, focusing on the Datejust 41 model, which stands out. It comes with a special fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet. This particular combo, which includes the rhodium, mint green, and the highly desired Wimbledon dial, has always been popular. Although you can get it with an Oyster bracelet, the Jubilee style is what most watch fans prefer. Now let's get into the prices. The rhodium dial version was priced at $11,450 in January, and it's stayed pretty steady since then. The Mint Dial 1, which many of fans love, was priced between $17,000 and $17,800 in January, but now it's dropped about 10% to between $15,000 and $15,900. As for the Wimbledon model, it was $15,150 in January, and it's kept its value well. Rolex Explorer. Moving on to the Explorer range, the top seller in that lineup is the Explorer 2 in polar white. While the black version isn't as common, most people are into the polar white one. Some watch fans might have different thoughts about it, but we think the Explorer 2 is a clean and attractive watch. Back in January, this model was priced at $14,000, a bit higher than December's price of $12,600, but still way lower than the retail price. Rolex Sea-Dweller. Let's talk about another successful line, the Sea-Dweller range, where the top performer is the Sea-Dweller 43 in red. This model is a big hit in the watch community because it has a more substantial look compared to the iconic Submariner. It's got a slightly bigger case depth and width than the Submariner, so it appeals to a wide range of collectors, not just those with bigger wrists. Back in January, prices for this model ranged from $16,400 to $17,100, which was a bit lower than the market price of $15,200 to $15,800. Even with some ups and downs throughout the year, the Sea-Dweller 43 is still a great buy at $14,100. Rolex Submariner. Let's talk about the iconic Submariner range, which is always a popular choice. The 3rd ranking model is the Bluesy, with its sunburst blue dial, blue bezel, and steel with yellow gold accents. It was initially priced at $19,900 in January, but now you can get it for $17,700 to $18,300, which is a great deal considering the current Rolex retail price of $16,650. Taking the second spot is the non-date Submariner, which is a favorite among many and a clean-looking watch. It's priced at a level that's considered a great value, and it's the iconic Submariner that's evolved from its original design in the early 50s. Unfortunately, they didn't provide specific pricing details. Now, for the top spot, the Submariner Date is our best-selling Submariner. It's been selling well throughout the year and has become one of the most wanted watches in our collection. At the beginning of the year, it was selling for $16,150 to $16,450, but now you can find it for around $15,200, which is a 10% decrease. Even though the price went down a bit, getting your hands on this watch is still difficult because it's so in demand. Rolex Daytona. No doubt the Rolex Daytona is the top-selling watch. Let's start with our third-ranking model, the steel and yellow gold Rolex Daytona with the white dial. The white dial version is more popular than the black one and is even considered a unisex watch. In January, the black dial was priced at $24,000, and it's still around that price, selling for between $22,800 and $23,800 now. The white dial was $26,600 in January and is now just under $25,300, with the new model going for about $26,600. Prices have been pretty steady. Moving on to the second-ranking Daytona, the stainless steel Daytona in both white and black dials. Interestingly, the white dial sells more than the black one, especially the iconic Panda Daytona. In January, the black dial was $35,470, but now you can get a new one for between $27,870 and $29,770. The white dial was $39,270 in January and is now around $31,670 to $32,950, which is a big savings. Now the top spot in our Daytona range goes to the Oysterflex Daytona, categorized by the three most popular dials. Starting with the third-ranking dial, the Paul Newman, featured in an 18-karat yellow-gold Oysterflex Daytona. The older reference was selling for about $45,600 to $46,900 earlier in the year, and the new one is now priced similarly, around $43,080 to $44,350, showing a slight decrease of about 10%. Next is the Pikachu dial, an 18-karat gold iconic model. It was selling for between $50,700 and $51,950 in January, and it's maintained its value. Finally, the number one bestseller in the Daytona range is the Rolex Ghost, known for its stealthy look and white gold build. It was $45,600 in January, and amazingly, it stayed at the same price, showing its strength in the market. Whether it's the old or new reference, the Ghost has been a consistent choice, proving itself as a strong option within the Oysterflex range. And that sums up this video for today. If you find this video helpful, consider liking and subscribing to Luxury Focus so you'll stay ahead with our latest content. Thanks for watching.